How can you combine your passion for aviation with serving a purpose that actually changes lives? This is a real question I see on social media and YouTube comments. In this video, we'll be talking with Kurt Duggar and Gretchen Catherwood, who have teamed up to raise awareness and support for the Darkhorse Lodge, a peaceful retreat for combat vets to take time to debrief and process what they experienced.
He goes, I expected to help him. I didn't expect him to help me.
It's said that each day, 20 of our vets take their own lives. Yes, 20. That is far too many, and something we need to change. And with that, I want to welcome Kurt and Gretchen to the channel. Hi, Kurt and Gretchen.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, it's an honor and a privilege to have you guys here. I've been aware of the lodge and what y'all are doing for it's over a year now, and it's been heavy. It's been on my heart for this whole time. So to get right into it, Kurt, tell us a little bit about yourself, your life, your service, and most of my audience are pilots and aviation enthusiasts. How'd you get bit by the aviation bug?
Grew up in West Tennessee, and I would say I got bit pretty early. I was about 10 years old. My cousin had a little two-seater Champ.
Oh,
and
excellent.
He asked me if I wanted to go for a ride. Y'all, it was a beautiful little plane. He asked me if I wanted to go for a ride one day, so my mom agreed to it, probably because she had no idea what we were really going to go do. We jumped in his truck, and I thought we were going to the airport. We ended up going out to a hayfield, roll his plane out of a little lean-to. It was okay for a 10-year-old boy. After that, you're hooked.
Oh, I love it.
I could just have like an airplane behind my house and fly out of a field and go play around.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. But I ended up always loved flying after that, completely in love with it. But I kind of gave up on it as I got older, went into the Marine Corps, into the infantry in 2000, got out in 08, did Iraq and Afghanistan, and then eventually decided that I had, if I wanted to dream of aviation, I was going to have to find a way to get it done. And so I started looking around and found paramotors. I said, I can afford that. And just started chasing it.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I mean, I've always been a fixed wing guy, powered fixed wing, but there is really something intriguing about paramotors. It's you and nature, and you're just, it's such a pure form of flight. Like if I can work it out in the budget, I want to dabble in it too. So
that's like the general aviation fixed wing guys. That's awesome. Airplanes are great, but I'm going to tell you, there is nothing like wearing your airplane on your back, running into the sky, and like actually feeling the wind in your fingertips through your controls while you're flying, having birds come out and fly with you. That's one of the most amazing things.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And Gretchen, tell us a bit about yourself, your family, and then what put you on this path for the Darkhorse Lodge.
Well, I was born and raised in Northern Illinois, and my husband and I have two kids. Our son was 19, actually he was 18 when he joined the Marine Corps. My daughter got married on Saturday. My son graduated Sunday. The following week, she went to join her husband on the East Coast. He's a Marine, and Alec went to boot camp on the West Coast. So I had two Marines taking my kids in opposite directions. And then in 2010, on October 14th, Alec had deployed with the 3-5 Darkhorse unit out of Camp Pendleton to Afghanistan at the end of September, on September 26, 2010. October 14th, he was killed in action. And their entire unit lost 25 Marines, and over 200 were severely wounded. Many missing arms, legs, multiple limbs, and among other injuries. And so we moved down here to Tennessee in 2012, and we had been to the remembrance ceremony after the unit came back, and meeting some of these guys and seeing the looks in their eyes and everything. It just left me with a feeling that I needed to do something for them, And so when we moved down here, I realized how peaceful this area is, and some of the best fishing in the South is here in Kentucky Lake. And I just thought, what a gorgeous place. And at the time we had 20 acres, we had a log home, and I just thought, why aren't we sharing this with you know, some of the guys who came home, because if my son had come home at something I would have wanted somebody to do for him, you know. And so we ended up buying some acreage about 10 miles from our home. We sold our home, built a home here right next to the lodge, and broke ground a few years ago. And now we have 7 buildings in place, and we're working on 4,000 square feet of decking right now.
Oh,
So
yeah, especially right now. I don't know if lumber's come down at all, but man.
well, no, fortunately, we decided to do composite decking.
Okay.
Because though it's normally so much more expensive than lumber, with the cost of lumber being high, it really wasn't that much of a huge difference. And we got such a great bulk discount because we're doing so much decking that it kind of just was a no-brainer, you know. So it's pretty exciting to see it all coming together now. And we're in, you know, probably we probably have another year to go before we can open. We still have quite a bit of work to do, but we've gotten a lot done so far, and it's coming right along.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, everything takes longer than you ever think it will. And I remember looking back and seeing the pictures of just, you know, like you said, breaking ground. Now here's foundations. Now it's built. Now, you know, you see pictures of buildings. Like it's, you know, it seems like it takes a long time, but you think about like how much has actually been done. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Right. And I have to focus on what's been done.
Mhm.
Yeah. And we get people that visit and they're like, you've done all this in a few years. And it kind of puts it in perspective for me, because in my mind, I'm like, this is all we've done in a few years. And they're like, holy cow, you've done all this, you know?
Yep.
So currently we do have, and this is a retreat for combat veterans, you may or may not know. And we have 25 bedrooms, each one named for one of the boys that was killed from the 3-5 Darkhorse unit. And so we've got 5 bedroom cabins. We've got a 6th cabin identical to the guest cabins, and that'll be for staff and any caregivers that may need to travel with our guests. And then we have a shower house, lower level shower house with an upper level dining facility above that. And you know, just give them a place to chill out, hang out with other veterans for a week, no cost to them. Taking fishing on Kentucky Lake, and just give them a place to hang out with other people who get it, you know.
Yeah, that's big right there. You know, someone like, I mean, I did not serve, so I am not going to be on the same level as those guys at all. You know, like I said, I don't have that level of understanding, but other things that I've done, there is people, you know, it's okay, you've done that too. You get it. I can, even with, you know, my end, you can relate to this. That I can't, and I understand.
For sure.
Talking to a pilot, you can get into flying a little bit more than what you can get into it if you're talking to somebody who's never done it before. Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. So getting back to paramotoring, I don't know if you remember, Kurt, but TSP episode 2500, I seem to remember somebody calling in from, what was it, 800 feet?
Hey, Jack, it's Kurt from about 800 feet above the greatest state of West Tennessee. Before you start complaining about the noise in the background, you know it's your fault.
Forgot about that.
And talking about their flying lawn chair. How about that?
Yeah, there's another podcast that we listen to called the Survival Podcast, and they were having a call-in show. So I decided I was going to call in and leave them a message while I was out on a flight one morning from about 500 feet up. I couldn't resist.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. That was when I first heard about you and what you were doing. And, you know, between TSP and the Holler Neighbors and all that, it's just, and then I think you put out one of your videos on YouTube too. And it just, like I said, it just hit me hard. And so it's, like I said, it's been something that's been on me for a while. Yeah.
The paramotor thing, that I had some trouble getting out of the Marine Corps and learning, because it's a big change, just getting out of the military and dealing with guys dealing with combat experience and stuff like that. You kind of have to relearn how to be a normal person. I had trouble with that getting out. And I had trouble with that for a long time getting out. But one of the first things I started noticing when I started flying paramotors, all the stuff that goes along with it, I started noticing how much it changed me. Just having that thing that while you're in the air, first, you know, if you fly, while you're in the air, you're 100% focused on being in the air.
Yeah, and you
don't have all these thousands of other little thoughts. burrowing their way inside your head and distracting you and changing your focus. When you're in the air,
your entire world is right there and you're focused.
Yeah.
And for me, every time I fly, it's kind of like going up and getting hitting a mental reset switch. And then I can come back down to the ground and I'm good. When I started noticing the effect it was having on me, better patience, I was better able to relate and communicate to my family, all that kind of stuff. So one of the first things I thought of was how great would it be to share it with all the other guys that are going to be coming to the Darkhorse Lodge or
Absolutely.
other veterans.
Absolutely. Yeah,
That's kind of where the fly got born from.
yeah. I know I've had that experience where, you know, okay, flying's great. And like when I started flying, honestly, like you said, it was something I always wanted to do, but I never thought I would.
Sorry, I said it always seemed out of reach.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But then I finally did it, you know, like I said, inspired with a purpose. And I started, you know, and it gets to a point where I call it, you just boring holes in the sky, right? Like it's like, okay, this is fun, this is great, but I got to do something with this. Like it can't, it seems selfish to just be doing that. And, you know, and eventually I did find different ways, and then starting to YouTube and trying to, you know, inspire other people to do the same thing too. That's, you know, that's kind of I'd say the big thing behind what I'm doing is, yeah, okay, here's what I'm doing, but you can do it too. You know, it's not that hard. You just got to have the dedication.
Yeah, that's the great thing about you putting all your stuff out there is you're showing so many other people that if you want this thing, you can have it, and here's how, which is awesome.
So tell us more about your lawn chair setup then. So what is it? The harness, engine type, wing type, all that pilot stuff.
Okay, yeah. So my paramotor, it's a Blackhawk Talon 190. It's made by Blackhawk, which is a company in California. The owner's guy named Mike Robinson. Fantastic company. They're probably you will not find any company that has better customer service than Blackhawk Paramotors. Like I've got the owner's number in my phone. If I needed to, I can call him, and I have more than once to ask him questions.
Wow.
So that's yeah, can't say enough about Blackhawk Paramotors. They are phenomenal. But
insert logo here.
That'd be fine. Didn't mean to do a commercial for them, but they're great. They have helped so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I got a Blackhawk Talon 190. It's a 190cc two-stroke motor, and it really is just a backpack with a harness that you wear with a motor and a propeller strapped to your back. And that's the that's the power part of the unit. When you take off, you have a little seat that's folded up behind you. You take off by running, and when you get in the air, you flip the seat down, and then you're just essentially sitting in a lawn chair in the sky.
I love it.
The wing is the wing. Everybody focuses so much on the motor, but with paramotors, your wing is really the most important thing, because it's kind of like having an airplane wing. You can have an airplane that's more aerobatic, or you can have something that's more safe and stable. But all of that doesn't really have as much to do with how strong your motor is. It's what size your wing is and how it fits you and how it's designed. I fly a Velocity Core 28 meter. It's kind of a big, floaty, safe, stable. You call it an A wing, which is a beginner class wing, which I have no problem being a beginner in this sport for another great many years. I know a whole lot of guys try to get into it, rush to aerobatics and small, fast wings and stuff like that. I am right now, my big 28 meter wing is more capable than I am, so I'm going to stick with it for a long time.
Nice.
Yeah, that's about it. It's about a 20 horsepower motor. They come in all different sizes. Some paramotors are down to, I think they've got them down to around like 40 pounds or so. So they're really light, especially when you put the harness on. I think some of the youngest pilots I've heard of I know there's at least one 12-year-old girl who has managed to fly and fly well, not just she's good at it.
Yeah.
Mine's a little bit bigger because I've got it set up to be kind of a cross-country long-range beast, and I can kind of handle the weight. Mine weighs in at about 90 pounds. I've got the biggest legal fuel tank you can have on it, which is just under 5 gallons. That gives me about about 3 hours of flight time with a little bit of reserve, which is more than I can stay in the air. So if my fuel tank can outlast me, it's right where I want it.
I was gonna say, as we get older, you know, the old running joke with pilots is, yeah, I got a 4-hour range, but a 2-hour bladder. So, you know, it is what it is.
Exactly. That's it. All I need to carry is a little bit more fuel than how long I can hold out.
Right.
That's all I need.
Okay,
As far as like operating cost and getting into it, it's Blackhawk. That's another reason I like Blackhawk. They've got some of the most cost-effective paramotor packages there are. You can be like a private pilot's license. I think the going rate now is what, like $10,000 to get your ticket.
the
roughly.
national average, yeah.
Yeah, like with paramotors, that's one thing I really like about them is you can have everything you need to get in the air with a paramotor for under 10,000 brand new.
Wow.
And then your operating cost is essentially your fuel. So you're looking at $5-10 an hour for your operating cost versus
That's amazing.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I like paramotors.
Well, there you go, Blackhawk. If you're listening, here's your new VP of sales. Oh man.
Sorry, they've just been so, I really can't tell you how good they have been to me, especially the Darkhorse flights of the last 2 attempts and the way the last one went down.
Literally
They have,
went down.
yeah, literally went down. That was exciting. But yeah, Blackhawk they've been way better to me than I ever had any right to expect them to be. I'll say that.
Yeah, I remember when you were prepping for the 2020 Darkhorse run, you had some mechanical issues, and I remember you saying some of the aviation community stepped up and helped you with that. And
Yes.
that's something, like, I didn't fly for a few years, and that was something my wife and I, something we really missed was the aviation community. You know, there's all these little communities we get involved with, but you know, that's the one that sticks out to me, of course. So
the pilot world tends to be very, very close knit.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
there's not a whole lot of people that are crazy enough to
Do that.
ignore gravity. So the ones that do tend to help each other out.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We kind of already touched on this, but of all things, what made you want to strap a lawn chair to your back with a big fan and use that? You could have picked a Champ or something else to raise awareness for Darkhorse. Why the paramotor?
Why a paramotor instead of something a little more sane? You mean it's abnormal to fly across the whole length of Tennessee in a lawn chair?
Yeah.
What's odd about that?
Nothing strange there.
No, I just figured I really wanted to get more of the word out about the Darkhorse Lodge, and I really wanted to get more eyes on it and get them more help finishing this project, because I've already, just in building the project, I've seen the good it has done with different veterans that have been able to show up and hang out and be a part of it. It's life changing. So I can't wait until it's up and running.
Absolutely.
So I thought, what's the best thing I can do to get the most eyes on the Darkhorse Lodge? There's not many things I can think of that are more ridiculous than flying across the state in a lawn chair, and everybody likes seeing things that are ridiculous. So I said, we'll give it a shot.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like made for YouTube, right? You know?
Exactly.
So that leads us into the primary reason for being here today, the Darkhorse Lodge. So I went to school with a guy, you know, we were both car guys, you know, so we already had that connection. After school, he ended up going into Marines. And you know how life is, you lose contact with each other over time. He did his job for 8 years. He was in Afghanistan. He came back. He struggled with PTSD, and a year later, you know, he committed suicide. You know, and a politician comes out and says, hey, we're going to name this local road after the guy, right? Like we did something, right? And I don't want to minimize that. Like, it is good. We did honor him, but we didn't fix the problem, you know? And so this is why what's been really weighing on me, you know, with the Darkhorse Lodge is this is something you guys are actually doing something and striving and sacrificing to get right at it. I know we talked a little bit about it. So how has this how has the building process and the setup and everything been?
It's been going great. Like I was saying before, it's frustrating because I want it to go faster. I'm not the world's
Absolutely.
most patient person. I am not patient at all. And so I really thought we could do this in a year, and that hasn't happened. But like everything else worth having, it's going to take some time, and every penny we spend has been donated. Every penny. We don't have millionaires throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars at us. I got literally in the mail today, a check for $2, a $2 check. And
That's
this
awesome.
woman mails a $2 and $3 check once a month, either $2 or $3 every single month. And that means a ton to me. I mean, because that's what she had and she just chose to give it to us. But
yeah.
We broke ground in 2017. We started doing the block foundations in 2018, and in 2019 we started doing the framing of the buildings. So 2019 was really very instrumental. We purchased the property and we had the foundations done, and they framed all 5 guest cabins, the staff cabin, and the dining facility. Those were all framed in. And then a gentleman up in Northern Illinois donated all of the standing seam metal roofing and the installation thereof. He sent his team down to install it. Yep. And so all the ceiling, all the roofing was done. We had a local man and his family came and they did all the siding, the metal siding on the buildings. And then last year in the spring, we had that year we also did all the electric and plumbing roughed in. We had all the, doors and windows put in. And then last year we did the insulation, the drywall. I spent all of May, all of June, and the first couple of weeks of July priming and painting all 7 buildings. Kurt's family came and helped one afternoon. Yeah, that was a long couple months of my life. I'll tell you what. And we didn't have electricity in the buildings at that time.
Oh, yes.
So I was painting with a trouble light and a fan plugged into an extension cord. It was ridiculous.
Yes.
But anyway, so now we have all the HVAC done. We have PTAC units in all the bedrooms. So we have heat, we have air, we have all the, the plumbing's roughed in. We have the interior doors hung. We have the flooring done. The ceilings in the great rooms are done. The ceiling fans, the smoke detectors, all that kind of stuff is done. Really all we need now to finish the actual buildings, the cabinet maker just called me yesterday. He's going to start installing the cabinets in the laundry room in the shower house, and then in the utility rooms and in the kitchenettes. He's going to start putting those in probably next week or the week after. Then the countertop guy is going to come in. And besides the counters and cabinets, we just need the plumbing fixtures put in and the doors clear coated and rehung, and then the trim work done, and the buildings are done.
Wow.
Done.
Wow.
Yeah, which is crazy. Because 2 years ago, there were no buildings there, and now there are 7.
Oh, man.
7 24 by 56 buildings. Yeah. So then after that, we will need to focus on, I have been approaching some companies as far as donations of kitchen gear, but donations are harder to come by since COVID because so many things are, a lot of materials are harder to come by.
Absolutely.
So companies are not as forthcoming with their donations as they were before. But if they don't, then we'll just buy them, and that's okay too. So we need the kitchen stuff, the refrigerator, the freezer, a couple commercial washers, commercial dryers, and then we need boats, motors, trailers, fishing gear, and some interior furnishings. And we'll be done. We're hoping maybe this time next year to be open.
Wow.
Really hoping. We have enough money to finish the buildings. We just need to outfit everything, and get going that way. Plus, we really need to have a year's operating expenses, I think, so that we can, start. we can actually afford. Yeah. We can feed our guests. Feeding them would be good. We can, put fuel in the boats. Things like that would be good. Yeah. We had some visitors here today, and one of the women said, so what do you plan to do if somebody comes and in the course of with other veterans decides that they really need some help? They're in a bad place. And I said, well, then they're in the right place. Mm-hmm. Because more than any kind of counseling or therapy, they're going to need the guys that are there with them,
Absolutely.
because nobody can help them better than somebody who's been through it.
Yep.
I mean, we can have counselors on call, and we plan on having counselors and therapists on call in case somebody really wants to speak to a professional. But for the most part, the best counseling that they're going to be able to get is sitting out on the decks, having a beer or a soda,
Mhm.
talking to the guys here with them.
That sounds so simple, but I've seen that make such a difference. I can't tell you how many times.
Me too.
Just putting guys that are having a rough time, putting them together in one spot, and then just let them sit down and talk.
Right.
And professional counseling has its place, and they are
Absolutely.
awesome at what they do. But it's going to be very hard for them to match what having a couple guys sitting around a campfire with the drink and just talking at night.
Right.
The kind of good you can do with that.
And the thing is, so much of these conversations are going to happen organically, and they're going to be talking about things that they had no idea they needed to talk about until they started talking about it.
Yeah, that's usually how that works.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something you plan on talking about. You're
Yeah.
just sitting around talking, and all of a sudden,
All of a sudden you figure out you're talking to somebody who's going to understand it if I
Right,
say
right.
this thing that nobody else really.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to wash clothes in an ammo can. Look, me too. Okay, it's hard to understand the people who haven't done it.
right, for sure.
Not
All those little
it.
things.
Yeah, not me either. Yeah.
Washing
exactly.
machines are awesome. One of my favorite things in the world is running water, by the way.
Yeah, running water is good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've
Yeah.
I've gone a week without it, and yeah, really come to appreciate it. You know, being out in the
Yeah.
we'll say a bush location, and not having those things, you do appreciate it in a hurry.
Yes,
Right.
we do.
Right.
So
That's something else about the lodge. If you notice, Gretchen was mentioned, they don't have one huge sponsor or one big benefactor covering everything.
No, we don't.
It's people from, well, at least all over the country, I'm gonna say, from other countries too, I
Sure.
believe. And when guys come in and see that, they're not just seeing the lodge that the Catherwoods built, they're seeing the lodge that the Catherwoods
Everybody.
built that
Mhm.
all
Built.
these other thousands of people also wanted to have a hand in.
yeah.
That's very meaningful.
They're gonna see for themselves firsthand what caring people can do, and how many people truly care about them and their well-being.
Absolutely. Yeah,
For sure,
and that's
sure.
so much more powerful than having, I don't know, X energy drink on the side of every building and whatever. It's, because okay,
Right.
that's there. Yeah, they gave money, but they really only care about themselves. It's totally
Don't
different.
get me wrong, though. Don't get me wrong. If X Energy Drink wants to give me $1 million,
All
I'm
over.
gonna take it, and I will plaster their name on my forehead to tell the
Everywhere.
world that X Energy Drink has supported Darkhorse Lodge, is a generous sponsor. I'm good with that. I have no pride whatsoever. I will tattoo their name down my face. Don't care.
It's not getting
Don't care.
edited out, by the way.
That's fine.
It's on
I
the
will
outside.
I will stand by my word. I will tattoo it on my face.
Yeah. But no, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
you said, giving money is one thing, but actually, putting boots on the ground, putting hands on hammers, and seeing that people poured their heart and soul into something, multiple
Right.
people from all over did, that makes a difference for sure. So
Right.
that's going to be real powerful. So that's going to be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the Darkhorse 450 is one of those events, where people are getting involved.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I was surprised that when I started, when the whole idea started, I just planned on it being me and hopefully talking to my wife and picking me up at the end and coming back. But then, as it's kind of moved along, there's been so many people from all over the place getting involved in it. It really surprised me.
That's great. I'm just a small time creator guy, but I really hope this gets out to more people. And we're a multimedia culture. There's podcasts, there's social media, there's this, there's that, there's videos, there's whatever TikTok is.
I
saw
don't know
that for
either.
the first time like 2
I
weeks ago.
I don't know
I'm pretty
TikTok.
sure That might be one of the most horrible things ever done to generate.
I'm on Instagram, but I'm almost never there because
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't even understand Instagram.
But no, stuff like what you're doing with this YouTube show, this is amazing. This is great.
Absolutely.
This is way bigger than what you think. It's all these little things.
really hope, you know, just somebody else watches this and just gets hit by it like I did. And, you know, whether it's money or talents or service, whatever, just somebody just reaching out, even if it's just, hey, good job, guys, you know, keep at it, you know, words of encouragement, you know.
For sure.
And if there's anybody that does see this, even if you're one of those weird fixed wing guys,
Weird.
feel free to come in and try to meet us somewhere along the route.
That'd be
I would
great.
love to see you. That would be awesome. Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so many different stops that
Yeah.
he's doing along the way. So somebody can
would
join him.
Kind of have to. I mean, we only go so far.
So many miles.
When you're doing 25 miles an hour, you don't make a fool out of it.
You don't make it in one day. But somebody can they can do one leg. They can follow
Yeah.
along from one airport to another airport and then leave after that, or 2 legs of the journey, or 3 legs, or just show up at the very end, or
hang out for lunch. Or,
yeah,
Yeah.
or see them off at the beginning. You know, we're having Chris, who I'm sure you met at the Holler. You know Chris. He is putting together a send-off / volunteer work day the Saturday before Kurt's ride. So on the 31st of July, there's people coming and they're gonna camp here and they're gonna volunteer, they're gonna do some stuff, and they're gonna have a big send-off for Kurt, which is gonna be cool.
That was a total surprise. I didn't have anything organizing that at all. That was just somebody one other person who said, hey, we want to be a part of this and help out.
Excellent. Yeah, sounds like another one of those Holler Neighbor GSD days, huh?
That's exactly what he called it.
Yep.
That's exactly what he called it.
I mean, given it's YouTube, I'm not going to say what it stands for, but yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Beep.
So, yeah. Excellent.
Figured out. And hopefully, like the last 2 attempts, I blocked out a lot more time to try to get it done this time. So I'm hoping we'll have more time to work around the weather and sort out any mechanical issues. But I'll make it as far as I can possibly make it safely. Last 2 times we didn't get it done. This time I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Me too.
Hey, you know, third time's a charm, right?
That's what I say.
That's what they say. And we never had a really cool destination. The destination is the Moonshiners Fly In. I mean, how cool is that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's East Tennessee all over it.
Yeah, I've got to get there for that. Yeah. Oh, Moonshiners Fly In. I've never been able to go there. From what I understand, there's always a big showing of paramotor guys there, and it's always a good time. So I'm really looking. I got to get to that.
He's got to get to that.
Yeah. I was looking at that too. There's the post on, was it PPG zone, I think. I was taking a look at that, and then I guess they've got a Jeep rigged up with lighting that, you know, if the paramotor guys are going, the Jeep's going to come out and be like, oh, hold up, airplane coming in.
That's kind of important sometimes.
Yeah.
Paramotors are great. Airplanes are great. They don't really mix all that well.
No. So I do work with a different type of retreat out in Bush, Alaska, and you know, you have a week-long program, right? The kids come, families come, you pour into them, they have a great experience. You know, it's truly, it can be absolutely life-changing, but then the week's over, and then what? You know, see you next year. Thanks for coming. You know, what kind of plans do you guys have for, I don't even really know what to call it, aftercare, or I mean, like you guys said before, you know, people naturally draw to each other and tell stories and connect, or what after their time at Darkhorse Lodge, is there a plan for that? I don't even know what to call it, to be honest.
Well, we're not really qualified to provide anything, even while they're here, as far as in-depth type of care, whether it's mental health or, you know, anything like that. We're not qualified to do that. We're just a couple of Gold Star parents who want to be here for the guys and the men and women who, you know, quite frankly, our son died for, you know, and in lieu of being able to do this for him, it's doing this for the sons and daughters of other mothers. You know, that's kind of how I feel about it. And really what they're going to take with them, in my heart of hearts, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're going to take with them a bigger network of people who have shared experience. So they have combat as a common denominator. They have military service and combat as a common denominator. Now they have Darkhorse Lodge as another common thread in their journey, you know, and they have 24 other people. We're hoping to be at capacity every week all year long. So they will have a bigger network from which to draw when it's 2 o'clock in the morning and they need somebody to talk to. They might not feel comfortable reaching out to family. They might not feel comfortable reaching out to even some of their battle buddies, because their battle buddies, they were with them 15 years ago. These guys they were with 2 months ago. They know them now. They know who they are now, what they're dealing with now. And they also then have that combat experience together. So I think the shared experience of being here and communicating during this week-long, you know, journey here, I think that's going to be invaluable, to be honest with you, just to have other people from which to draw, or for whom to be here if they need anything.
From my experience, that when you do something like that, when you make those connections, you don't really need to plan for anything after that. After you get those people together, usually they find ways to stay in touch.
Right.
Excellent.
That's really all that's required.
Right.
That's
And it seems like such a simple fix. Like, okay, we all kind of know what the problem is with vets coming back and having serious problems with depression, mental illness, suicide, all that stuff. And there have been, probably hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, thrown at trying to solve this problem through the VA and a lot of other programs. But the fix is really so simple, it's almost embarrassing. You don't need to put billions of dollars into it. You just need to help these guys understand that when they get home, they're not alone anymore.
Right.
They've got other people they can count on.
For sure.
If you can get them to understand that, then that's the biggest hurdle you've got to jump.
I think it was, and Jack can chime in here if I'm wrong, but I think it was Bill Mollison who said, you know, the problems are complex, but the solutions are embarrassingly simple. And so that's what you all are talking about right now. That's what it sounds like is, you know, these guys just need people to connect with, and, you know, when they're in that moment, somebody they can reach out to, and, you know, accountability and all that. That's amazing.
But first, you just need to create a time and place for them to make that connection.
That's right.
If you can create that, then everything else can not really take care of itself, but everything else is a lot simpler to deal with.
Well, and we've already seen it in practice, and I've told this story multiple times, but we had a group working here, working on the foundations, and the guy is a Vietnam veteran, and we had an OIF veteran who was here helping them, and over a period of days and weeks, they got to be really friendly, and they started, you know, cutting up and giving each other crap and laughing and telling stories. By the time they were done with the job they were doing, and we would sit on our porch and listen down at the lodge because we live next door, and we'd hear the laughter and the talking and all that kind of stuff while they were working. And when they got done with the job, the gentleman's son also worked with them, and he came to us and he goes, I have heard more stories from my dad during this time working at Darkhorse Lodge while he was talking to that OIF veteran than I have heard in my entire life. And that man came to us and he said, you know, when you asked me if this young veteran could come volunteer his time, I was kind of skeptical because I wasn't too sure how much this kid who'd never done this job before would be able to help. He goes, but then I thought, you know what, I'll help this kid. I'll be, you know, as a veteran, I'll help this kid. He goes, I expected to help him. I didn't expect him to help me.
Boom. There you go. You hit the nail on the head perfectly right there. Yeah.
That was so powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful.
Yeah.
When he said that. My husband and I were just like, oh my God.
Yes.
That's what Darkhorse Lodge is about.
Wow. That might be
And
an
that was
intro
just,
segment.
we're not even open. You know, we're not even open.
I mean, I know it's frustrating for you guys not having it done in the first week, like I'm sure you want to, but just I've watched the whole process from the outside, and I have seen things like that happen from start till now.
Yeah, the process is helping, even just the process.
Just the process.
No, that's amazing. I mean, that's something I've learned in my we'll call service, volunteership, whatever you want to call it, the flying's great. Like I get to go do this great thing in a faraway place. I fly kids around, it's wonderful. But I've done it long enough that it's, that's great. But anymore, I just look at it as the bonus, the time spent with these kids and pouring into these kids that, they deal with these things that are 5 times worse than, and that's what the statistics say, 5 times worse than any kid in our, lower 48 of the country. Just to have that time with them, it's just, that's everything.
And what you
right
get
there.
out of it, what you get out of it is probably tenfold.
Absolutely. Yeah, to take a kid that, they're kind of shy, they're reserved. You can tell they've been through some stuff because of, the issues that we have up there. And they're maybe even crying, they don't want to come. And then at the end of the week, they're in my arms crying because they don't want to go home. And what they're going to, and they're not going to have that support network. They're not going to have, the people to lean on. It's just, and then it's heartbreaking too. But what I will say too,
but
is,
they have the memories to draw from.
Absolutely. Because you never know a situation somebody gets into and what they'll remember when they're in that situation. I can speak from experience on that.
That's right. That's right, for sure.
One thing I'll try to encourage you with is, and I think you're kind of already seeing this happen, but you'll go from having guys come in and, connecting and being served to, once they work through stuff, coming back and serving at Darkhorse. And that'll be a momentous occasion too. Like that's something I've been able to see over the years. And that's just, man, it's like, wow. it's hard to say. So
yeah, I look forward to that for sure.
So what would you say is the greatest need for the lodge at this time? We talked about it a little bit before, but if we're just going to call something out, what's the greatest need for the lodge at this time?
Well, money is always needed from here in perpetuity. Money will be needed forever. Not only to finish building, but to run it. We need materials. We have a custom wish list, if you will, on Amazon, where people can go. It's almost like a gift registry. And so, and on our Facebook page, the Darkhorse Lodge Facebook page, I've posted the link to the Amazon wish list multiple times. I take pictures of what people send, and while I'm thanking them, I also post the link. And every single time I post a picture of something somebody sent and post the link, somebody buys something else. So it's really cool. But I mean,
Excellent.
I have things on there. Somebody bought all of our toilet plungers. It sounds ridiculous, but we need toilet plungers. One lady a couple weeks ago bought 36 blankets. 36 blankets. Yep. That's a lot of money. Yep. We have everything from rags and sponges for the kitchen use to journals that we're going to keep on the nightstand, like a guest registry kind of thing, so people can put their thoughts, write down who they are, where they came from, how their experience is at the lodge, things like that. We'll have that on every nightstand, to board games, to coffee makers, to alarm clocks and vacuum cleaners. We have everything from a $2 item up to a $450 item. So somebody can go in there and buy one of those things, and it ships free right to us. So they don't have to worry about buying it and mailing it. It comes right to us.
Excellent.
And then we're going to need kitchen gear. We're going to need fishing gear. We're going to need, volunteers to come help maybe work in the kitchen, a day or two here and there. If people want to get their hands dirty, we will have plenty of things for them to do to get their hands dirty. So whatever their level of involvement wants to be, we will work with them to make it happen. And if Blackhawk Paramotors wants to be a sponsor, we'll take it. Logo here. Tattooed here. So yeah, there's plenty of opportunities. Plenty of opportunities to donate or help, for sure.
And I'll be sure to put a link down below for that registry list as well, because I've been the guy bringing the package to the retreat of like these random items, and for me it's like, okay, whatever, I have 5 of these at home, but for them it's like, no, everything has to be shipped in. So this random bit of stuff, it's a game changer. It's awesome.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big deal.
All those little everyday things like 37 plungers. I would never thought of that. Well, who would need plungers? And then it makes sense. Well, yeah, they've got a whole big thing going on here. So there's going to be 1,000 little things
Yeah.
like that they need.
Mhm.
And every one of them are important.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And a lot of things we haven't even thought of yet.
Oh yeah.
You know, we can't think of everything.
Yeah. and
So,
will,
you know,
yeah.
sometimes people visit. Yeah. Yeah. They'll visit and they'll say, what are you going to do about ABC? And we'll go, oh, well, that we're going to do X, Y, Z. Or sometimes they'll say, what are you going to do about ABC? And we'll go, huh.
When it
I hadn't
happens, we'll
thought of
let you
that
know.
Yeah. But it's wonderful to get people here to visit. And when they walk through the cabins and they have an idea, because we're just a couple of people. You know what I mean? We can't think of all these things
Oh,
that
yeah.
these wonderful folks come through and they're like, hey, what about, you know, blah, blah, blah. We're like, that's wonderful. What a great idea. We'll do that.
Mhm.
Or we'll arrange to have that happen, or we'll buy that or provide that, you know. So yeah, it really helps to have input from other people because we're just a couple of folks, you know.
Is there any plans to have some kind of full-time staff there on top of, you know, just you guys? Obviously, you know, need for volunteers year round, but I mean, as it grows, as it progresses, how does that look?
Well, from day one, we're going to have full-time on-site live-in combat veteran staff.
Okay.
So
Good.
we have a staff cabin. So we have the 5 guest cabins, and then we have a staff cabin where 2 or 3 of those bedrooms will be filled by combat veteran on-site live-in staff members. And then a couple of those bedrooms will be set aside for any caregivers. So those veteran staff members are going to be the ones to take the guys out fishing on the lake,
Mhm.
to help maybe in the kitchen, to on their, you know, on the days where we may not have guests, they can help do some of the landscaping or mow the lawns or maintenance. So yeah. So we plan on having at least 2, more likely 3, in addition to the person running the kitchen. So probably 4 full-time combat veteran staff members. So
Excellent.
pretty much I'm going to be the only one here who is not a combat veteran. My husband included, he's a Desert Storm veteran. So I'm the only one, and I'll be probably in my office begging people for money on the phone all day like I do now. I'll
Well,
be begging for money until I die.
well, I'm sure there's a few guys watching this that probably just heard that, and it, you know, everything else we said probably hit them right in the gut. And you know, if that's you and you're being, you know, you're being drawn to this, by all means, check out Darkhorse Lodge. Check out Wow, I cannot speak.
I'm not the only one.
Check out the lodge and see what you can do. There we go. First take.
There you go.
We touched on it a little bit before, so let's talk about the 2021 Darkhorse 450. What's new this year? Maybe some of the past challenges and how we're getting around that, or hopefully getting around that.
New this year, hopefully we'll be getting all the way to the end. Definitely a big change. In the past, I've tried to like knock it out in a long weekend. This year, going to have essentially a full week to get it done. Plan on leaving on either Sunday morning or Monday morning, either Sunday the 1st or Monday the 2nd. Yeah, right after the big work day at the lodge, which is also something that's new that some of the other people, Chris, thank you
Chris,
for organizing that. That's an amazing new development. Hopefully we're not going to have anything like broken crankshafts at 1,500 feet.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was, it was exciting for a second. I mean, it was
Exciting.
It was fun, you know, but yeah, hopefully the weather will cooperate, especially
Oh,
the only part of it that I'm a little bit concerned about is paramotors are very susceptible to the weather and wind, a lot more than like regular fixed wing aircraft, of course. So I'm really going to try to push the front end of the flight as fast as I possibly can so that when we get to East Tennessee, where there's a lot more terrain, a lot more serious mountains, and a lot more chance for, we'll call it dynamic, exciting conditions. I want to have.
True. Very true. Yeah, absolutely.
It is. These mountains,
exciting.
big hills make a big difference in what the wind does, but I want to give myself plenty of time so I can pick through that safely.
Yeah. So for our non-pilots, well, anybody who's a pilot is going to understand this, but for our non-pilots, when you're in an airliner and they say, oh, we got some light turbulence and the airplane just does this little bit, that same turbulence in a little light airplane would tear it to shreds. And in Kurt's rig here, yeah,
There's
you
just
don't want to be in
that
that.
whole awesome flexible wing that's on top. It looks so cool. It would just wind up in a little bit of ball.
Yeah.
And then you have the rest of your life to sort it out.
Yeah. You said your rig is you said your rig is 90 pounds gross, or
Yeah, my motor unit with all the normally it's quite a bit lighter than that coming straight out of Blackhawk. I've just added some other things to it to make the long cross country flights easier. But yeah, when I have my full all my camping gear and everything, it's looking about 90 pounds.
okay. So since we're talking about, say like TSP and preparedness and Holler Neighbors, we know the common saying, right? And you already know it since before that, but 2 is 1, 1 is none, right? So your ground crew that's falling around, what kind of spares and backups and everything do you have? Do you have a spare crankshaft or another motor or something? Blackhawk?
No, not anything like not anything like a spare motor hanging around just yet, but just basic hand tools. That paramotor's best friend is zip ties. You'd be amazed how many flying machines are kept in the air by zip ties. So it's a little bit scary, but there's not a whole lot to them that needs fixing.
Excellent.
Okay, you can tear the whole motor apart and put it back together with a couple of wrenches, and that's really all you need. I've got a little tool bag I carry with me that's about that big, and I can pretty well take the whole thing apart and put it back together with that. As long as I don't have a crankshaft twisted off. That's a little harder to fix.
I think we'll have more people on the ground this year too. We should have more people on the ground.
Yes, it looks like there's definitely going to be plenty of ground support for this one.
Excellent.
To dig us out of the woods if we need to.
So we've talked about what got you here. Who or what would you say is your biggest inspiration moving forward? I mean, we just say the lodge and everybody coming. Is there something in particular, someone in particular that your minds always go to?
Me?
Both of you.
Oh, what? Okay. For me, it's been the Catherwoods, pretty much for a long time. They have been an anchor for me way more than they know, because we don't stay in touch every day. We don't talk all the time, but ever since the first time I saw what they were doing with the lodge, and I saw what they had dedicated their life to, especially after dealing with what they've dealt with, that's my inspiration, one of my biggest reasons for doing something like the Darkhorse 450.
That's excellent.
Doing that kind of work.
That's great.
Very sweet. Very, very sweet. Yeah, for me, it's Kurt and every combat veteran like him. Every group of people that walks through here and has been where he's been and done what he's done, they're the reason I'm doing this. 100% the reason I'm doing this. That's it. Every one of those guys. Everyone who has given me the opportunity to be here to do what it is that I'm doing. Because I wouldn't be here without them. None of us would.
Absolutely. No, I agree 100%. That's great, guys. I really appreciate it. I think we lost video. Do you still hear me? Let me see. Technical gremlins. Hey, we're getting them all out now before the 450, right?
There you go. Yeah.
I like
Yes.
that. I like the way you're thinking.
Excellent
All
thinking.
problems right now.
So we kind of touched on it a little bit in between the transition here, but so what are the best ways to get in touch with you guys and to learn more about what you're doing?
For me, my email, I'm fine with anybody trying to get in touch with me there. It's kurt.dugger@protonmail.com, kurt.dugger@protonmail. Send me an email. I will get back to you. If you don't hear from me for a day or two, send me another one, because I didn't see the first one. But yeah, anybody that wants to be part of the flight or part of any of the rest of it,
That would be cool.
just send me a message there.
And he does
far
respond
as any
too. That's
donations
how
or
I set
anything
this
goes,
up.
Yeah, he does respond.
That's how everybody finds me.
He does.
I'm not on Facebook anymore. If you get on MeWe, you can look me up. Just look for Kurt Dugger, and I'll probably show up in one of the paramotor rooms there. As far as any donations or anything for the flight goes, I would like all those to go straight to the lodge. I don't want to be a middleman for any of that. So anybody who would like to donate any money or supplies or anything like that, get in touch with Gretchen.
Yeah, and please, if they were to donate through PayPal or anything, if they could put a note saying that it is for the Darkhorse 450, so we can let Kurt know, if anything comes through for the
Pretty cool.
Darkhorse 450, that would be very cool.
I gotta say, that's one of the coolest things about the last two flights is when I'm in the air, I can still get text messages and stuff like that. And Gretchen sending me a message saying that somebody donated during the flight. That's a big boost.
That's really
That's
cool.
awesome. That's awesome.
For sure.
Oh,
That makes
man.
the days a lot shorter.
Yeah. So I think in the 2019 run, didn't you had a way to track the flight, didn't it? Do you have a way to track this year's run?
Yes, I'll be using that. It's an app called Glimpse that has live tracking. When I get going, I will send the link out.
Okay.
So Gretchen will have it. Anybody else that wants will have it. The ground team will have it. They can spread it out. But yeah, you can, as long as I've got internet connectivity, you'll be able to see where I'm at least and where we're going or whoever else is flying with me.
It's a cool app.
Unless we get a little bit too high. If we get a little bit too high and it stops moving, don't panic. We're probably okay. When the internet comes back, you'll see where we are.
So, some good thermals that day.
Yes, there are sometimes. Free altitude is nice.
That's right. People can reach Darkhorse Lodge at darkhorselodge.org. Our website is darkhorselodge.org. And we're just Darkhorse Lodge on Facebook.
Excellent. Yeah, and all these links will be in the description down below. Well, guys, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you tonight. Like I said, it's ever since I heard about Darkhorse, it's been on my heart for a while, and I'm glad to. I haven't been able to get down there, but I'm glad to finally do something. So.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's really quite valuable, and we understand how valuable it is, and we're grateful for that time you've given to us.
Thank you very much, guys. Until next time, we'll be watching and rooting for you, Kurt, and can't wait to see what you guys do.
Sounds great.
Thanks, man. I'm looking forward to your next videos.
You just heard about one way to combine your passion and talents in aviation to serve a desperate need. If you feel drawn to it, please reach out to the Darkhorse Lodge and help in any way you can. I've got plenty of links down below, including their Amazon registry. And you heard Gretchen, it doesn't matter if you order a toilet seat and a sponge, everything will be put to good use at the lodge. I hope this story has hit you as hard as it has me. If so, please share that in the comments section. And if you made it to this point in the video, what are you going to do now?